Oh man, I can't even say. Cause I knew I would fucking kill them if they fucked with me. That's I deal with a huge inferiority complex. As a little boy, I was fat and everybody picked on me. So now, I never back down from a fight. So when a person could say some infantile thing like, you're stupid, or you got your ass kicked in a fight, and I will strike them. I'm not somebody that will walk away from a street fight. I would provoke a fight with them. I won't start one, but I won't walk away from one either. In a fight in the streets, not like the ring, it has to be almost to the death, because you never know. If you don't knock him out cold or you don't beat him half to death, he'll go home and come back with a gun, or come back with a friend with a gun, or a gang of people. So normally a fight in the street is normally deadly. There's nothing like fighting when you're young and you're happy.
Blinding speed.
It's nothing more deadly and nothing more proficient than a happy fighter.
Immediately sent long out of the ring with that left hook.
Everybody believes that the mean and the surly fighter is the tough fight, but that's not true. The guy that's more relaxed, and the guy who loves what he does, and he's just happy to be in there doing what he does. I was never really a big heavyweight. When I was in my prime, I never weighed over 217, 219. But me and my trainer, Custom Model, we always put a great deal of emphasis on our speed and combinations. He always told me speed kills. Speed is what kills. The speed kills.
Off is 27. Oh, wow. Here it comes. Whoa.
Most of my fighters that I emulated in the mind was real lightweight guys like Tony Cantoneri, Kid Chocolate, Henry Armstrong. The little guys were just so exciting to watch. And that's how come I knew that I was going to be an exciting fighter, because I had the speed and the power.
Left hand almost drove Richardson right through the canvas. In trouble in both the first and 10 rounds, and now he's in trouble here.
Hey, how you doing, my man?
All right. You gonna be the next champ or what?
That's what I'm in the business for, of course.
Right.
Bill and I both feel that Mike Tyson is definitely going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. The real question is when.
I just know what I have in the back of my head. I have a goal that me, Cuss, Jim Jacobs, and my trainer Kevin Rooney all planned. And God forbid, if anything happened to Cuss, we're all professionals, and we're going to continue. When Cuss D'Amato died, I was in New York City. I was in the Manhattan section of New York City, Lower East Side. I was accompanied by Jimmy Jacobs, who was my manager at the time. And he had told me that within 10 hours, Cuss would be dead. And we have to go to the bank and deposit some money. It was some money that I had made for my fight, a few $100,000, and he had said, we have to deposit some money. So we went to the bank, and I was at the bank depositing money, and I was just crying, just crying out, just crying and crying and crying. And the lady at the bank was, I was hysterical. The lady at the bank had asked, what is wrong? Is everything all right? And Jim Jacobs had explained that we had lost a good friend of ours had died, or will be dying shortly. And he's handling it very rough. And I was just very hysterical. And Jim Jacobs was cool as ice, nothing fazed him. But to me, it was like I lost my whole life. I didn't know where to go from there. I can remember being at Cuss D'Amato's funeral. I was a pallbearer there. You know, I was very proud to be a pallbearer for him. And I was just 19 years old. I didn't know what to do with my life. There was news cameras there, there were reporters there. And I was just saying, I don't have my friend no more. I was very scared. I felt very vulnerable. I felt lonely. I just felt naked to the world. I just felt like a very vulnerable young boy. And it was just a real horrific time for me in my life. I was just a young boy at 19, and I didn't have the chance to let Cuss see the prospects of me growing as a heavyweight champion. A boy comes to me with a spark of interest. I feed that spark and it becomes a flame. I feed the flame and it becomes a fire. I feed the fire and it becomes a roaring blaze.
moment Lewis has been waiting for. With smashing lefts and rights to the jaw and belly, he's out to win it here in round one. Every ounce of strength he has in those punches, he moves in to finish the challenger.
Being a young boy and living in Catskill, New York, I was able to watch as many fight films as possible, because there was a big fight collection up there, and it was just wonderful watching those fighters. I know every move they have. I know everything they do. I know I studied them for years and years as a little boy. From 13 years old to 20 when I studied them. I watched them every night. A couple of times a night I watched them. I know every punch they throw. I know everything they do.
Hi there, folks. This is Jim Stevenson taking you back to September 22nd, 1927. Soldiers Field, Chicago.
Well, it's so interesting because I have a great deal of respect for Custer. You know, everything he says I grow for. I believe everything Custer said. His word in boxing is Bible to me. When he describes fighters and he talks about fighters, he talks about all their good points. He talks about Jack Dempsey's ferocity.
Cutting it down.
And then he talks about Rocky Marciano's will and dedication. But when he discussed Muhammad Ali, he talks about his character and personality. He said that's the only reason Ali is the best, because he has more character. And I thought that was fun. I was a young kid. I didn't know how to understand that back then. But as I got older, I realized what he meant. I never really had an image of myself. I really read about a lot of people who I believe were great men, and I took qualities from them. And I said, well, in order to be a great man, you have to be this way and that way and this way. I didn't know these were great men that had bad qualities. And I used to read a lot of times, read about Errol Flynn, I read about Jack Johnson, all these Jack Dempsey. You read about all these great people, and what you read about them and what they all have in common with their conquest over great women and famous women, or whatever it may be. So I always thought, like, in order to be a great figure, you have to have these women in your life. And the most women you conquer, the greater figure you may be. I never knew that conquering so many women takes so much from you, more than gives too much, more than adds so much to you. I was intrigued with sex because I've been in a household where my mother was promiscuous and her friends was very promiscuous. The whole neighborhood I come from is very promiscuous. You hear people talking, suck my dick, suck my pussy, so it's a very promiscuous environment. I wanted to be a guy that had a lot of girls. That was my main objective. But in order to be that guy, I had to restrain myself. I always read that the great fighters never had sex before fights. And I was a young kid, and I wanted to be the youngest heavyweight champion in the world. So I restrained myself from sex for around 5 years. I think the best thing in life is to abstain from sex. After abstaining from sex and then having sex, I think that's the best feeling in the world, after abstaining from it. I've always been interested in women. I'm drawn to them. They have a magnetic force towards me. I've always been intrigued by them. And when I see one, I always have a knack to talk to them. I love talking. It's monologue, talking, and sometimes it's difficult because that's why I like companions. I like talking. I love conversation. I like talking to one another. One day I was at a party. It was a beautiful party. It was on Fifth Avenue, around 1990. It was incredible. It was a great party. I went to this party, and it was just such a beautiful woman, a luminary crowd of people in there, and I was just impressed. And it was this model there that was just looking this incredible, man. I'd never seen a woman look so exquisite. And for some bizarre reason, she started talking to me as if she knew me. I didn't know her at all, but I knew she knew who I was, but she was intrigued with me. And it was so bizarre. She went into the bathroom, and I was craving her so desperately. I just went into the bathroom after her, and I sat on the sink, and I just started performing fellatio on her. It's monologue, talking. That's why I like companions. I like talking. I like talking to one another. And it was on and popping from there on. I can remember boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. It was November 22nd, 1986. I was fighting against Trevor Berbick. Greatest fighter to ever live was Muhammad Ali. And he had just took a humiliating beating by Trevor Berbick, and I was angry, and I was looking for revenge. And I can remember Ali coming to me in the ring, because he was introduced to the ring, and Ali coming to me and said, "Get him for me." By that time,